Greetings and welcome to PinballHelp. Mike here. Work continues on this Bali Escape from the Lost World. Right there, there it is. Escape from the Lost World. This is a pretty obscure 80s era Bali. It's, I think, the second to last Bali that was ever made before they merged with Williams. They were definitely trying some pretty far out playfield designs and stuff. So anyway, work continues. If you've been watching the video series, I got the vertical up kicker over here. This thing is working now, so it's kicking the ball out. But I was running into a problem, and I'll tell you a weird anomaly with this machine. It's got all of these plastic ramps, these plastic wire forms. Even the apron here is plastic. Well, this thing was in a garage in South Louisiana for a long time, it appears, and it actually caused the ramps to partially melt. I don't know if you can see, but instead of these things being flat, they're kind of concave. They're kind of molded, rounded. It's like they were drooping, and they've just started to, I guess a particularly hot day or something caused some problems. The plastic weakened up. And this is very obvious when you look over here at this ramp here. Take a look at that. Look at where those two ramps meet. You see how it's up like that? That's supposed to be flat. This is supposed to be flat. Now you're seeing a little piece of tape in front of it, and I'll explain why that is. But you see this is supposed to be flat. That's how much these ramps kind of molded and melted and kind of just got out of shape and everything. So I had a problem with this ramp form right here. And let me show you what the situation is. So the way this works is, oh, you know what? Let me fix something real quick. This is getting out of hand a little more than I wanted it to. I've got some epoxy in here that I've put down, and I may end up having to get rid of some of it. Let me see. So what I've done is I've taken some clear automotive epoxy, because there's a little concave portion that the ball gets stuck there, and get some of this off. Right there. It's just starting to harden, and I'm filling it in with this clear automotive adhesive. It's an epoxy adhesive. So I poured a little bit in here, and it's filling in this. It's starting to drip a little bit down into this ramp, which isn't necessarily a problem because these are all little concave areas that it's filled up to. But I'm going to put a piece of tape there anyway. I don't think it's going to move anymore. It's starting to harden already. This stuff doesn't take very long. But what I've done is I've poured some of this clear epoxy right in here, because this was an area the ball would come up here, and if you didn't shoot it far enough to go all the way up the ramp, it would come up here and roll back down, which is the way it's supposed to, so it goes to this flipper. But if it wasn't powerful enough, it would roll right here and it would sit right there, because this is all concave. I tried putting something underneath it and it wasn't working. The ramps have just become a little bit misshapen because of the heat. So I'm trying to put some epoxy in here to get rid of that concave area right there, so that at least if it's slightly stuck, you could shake it. Before you couldn't. You have to tilt the machine. So at least now, I think this is going to look good. And because it's this clear epoxy, you won't even really be able to see it. It'll look fine. And I've got these pieces of tape around it just to keep the epoxy from going anywhere else. If you watched another video, you noticed that I actually repaired this ramp here with this same epoxy, and this is already hardened. And it works really well. It's great for filling in cracks and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of this stuff. So I'm trying it right here to just fill in this hole. Looks like it's going to work out well. A little bit of it creeped around into here, which is not necessarily a problem. I scraped a little bit of it off, and I think it'll be fine. So it's a good way of fixing this thing, and this is just work that continues on this game, trying to get it working. As always, I'm not trying to make this perfect. This is not museum quality. This is a player's game, but I want it to be as playable as possible. So filling in this ramp with a little bit of clear epoxy, I think will keep the ball from getting stuck there. And then I think we've got just about everything working. These ramps are really, really hard to find. So my only choice is to try to figure out some way of making them work, fixing them when they're all melted up like that. And they're so thin, I don't really want to try to heat them up and bend them back into shape. I just think that's a little scary. So this actually does double duty by filling in the little concave section there and also adding some strength to the ramps to make them a little bit longer lasting. And so there you have it. And let's zoom out and you can get a good look at the whole play field with everything working. All the lights. Got a mixture of LEDs and incandescents in this game so that it runs cooler, but it also has a little bit of the old school look in it too. And I think that looks good. I've heard people, you know, this little underground thing, there's nothing down there. People always ask, you know, does the ball go down there? No, it doesn't. The ball doesn't. But it might be neat to stick something down there. So I've heard people put little lizards down there and things like that. So it might be interesting to, next time I get a chance to throw something in there. That doesn't affect gameplay, but it is kind of interesting. This weird multi-level thing. The whole game is just really beautiful like that. And gonna let that epoxy dry, and then hopefully this game will be back operational. I'm excited. Hopefully you'll get it all working. The kicker from the last video does work. Let's see, can I show you that without? Let's see, start again. All right, so let's demo this. Ball falls here. Goes into the hole, kicks it out. Another way is you could shoot up in here, falls into the hole, kicks out. You could shoot up this ramp. See, before that switch wasn't working, so now we got that working, which is good. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching. For more, visit PinballHelp.com. Bye.